Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ECS Season 6 Finals, coming at you live from the Esports Stadium in Arlington, Texas. After fighting it out tooth and nail, we have 4 of the world's best teams ready to duke it out in the semi-finals. But of course, our day would not be complete without our wonderful set of analysts and casters. So it is my absolute pleasure to hand you over to the wonderful Alex Machine Richardson. Texas, make some noise.
Good morning, Arlington. Yes, it is a pleasure to be here, and I am joined by 2 beautiful human beings who are going to be providing you all of the insight that you may need coming into today. It is our 3rd day already, time for the playoffs. We have Mohan Launders Kafindasamy, and of course we have Tommy Lurpis Kovanen. You giggled at me. Why did you do that?
You practice in the group stage and you nail it on stadium day. I'm proud of you, man.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's just the lay of the land. But in fact, that is exactly what we're here to do, is to explain the lay of the land. And I wish I could hear myself in my ears. It's actually incredibly difficult to talk and maintain a coherent string of words. But I'm going to try anyway. So first things first, the social media outlets. If you want to reach out to us, you can do so using the hashtag ECS6, because it is the 6th season of these finals. So you can head to YouTube. It's down there as well, youtube.com/FACEIT. If you want to go ahead and you're watching at home, click Get More Loot. It's nice and easy. Subscribe, click the bell, and get some loot. That's the plan. But let's start from the very top. Started with 8, down to 4. Any surprises?
Any surprises? Having Astralis is kind of a surprise. I don't know if it was a surprise to, having Liquid lose.
Liquid going out in last place was definitely a surprise to me. I thought they would be a shoo-in for the playoffs, honestly.
I thought Energy were going to win yesterday, so yeah, 3 surprises, yeah, just a bunch of them.
Yeah, now the format of this tournament is nice and easy. We can explain it with a graphic in just a matter of seconds. But yes, 2 groups, 4 teams in each group, and it was 2 that would step onto that stage into the best of 3. Well, a rather cutthroat bracket, of course, let's not forget. We can actually, I wonder if we can walk you through the brackets as well. With the format, we can just jump straight in. Now, let's not forget, the winner of the European Online season was Astralis. The winner of North America was NRG, and they were divvied up and given the choice to choose one team that was not going to be in their group. This is how it happened, though. I mean, MIBR, I think this is the team to watch coming into playoff day.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, it should always be the team to watch, Alex, as far as I'm concerned. But they have looked good here so far. I mean, the Astralis win is obviously big. They've had a couple of close losses before where they just haven't been able to get over the finish line. So curious to see how that added confidence helps them going forward here today in the playoffs.
I was definitely worried that it was only going to get worse. Like, they had their chance at Istanbul and the confidence would be too low and the Astralis would only grow stronger. But I was surprised and kind of impressed to see them do it yesterday. And they put Astralis in a really awkward position where they have to go up against maybe their second hardest target here.
Yeah.
There's NIP who have been waiting to play them.
I mean, actually, NIP do seem to, I mean, if you string together their last 2, if not 3 offline performances, do seem to be converting a lot of people, Tommy. A lot of people have got high expectations for the Swedes coming into today.
Well, certainly you, I'm sure. And Henry's obviously one of the drivers of the NIP bandwagon. But they have looked good here. Their win against NRG was pretty convincing. I was talking to Dennis for a bit in the hallway before coming in here, and they're very confident about Nuke, it seems. Or maybe not confident about winning. I mean, Astralis is 25-0, but nonetheless.
Confidence is there, and I'm confident you guys both here in Arlington and those of you watching at home are going to have a great time. But we can't start a finals without Counter-Strike teams. So let's take one step closer to getting this party started.
Under the leadership of Lecro, NIP have managed to dominate the competition. But can they continue their momentum as they turn to face defending champions Astralis? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage NIP and Astralis.
All right, here we go. year's ECS Season 6 Finals. We've seen these two perpetrators committing some serious homicides.
Just one more chance.
Ninjas in Pajamas has already claimed 2 victims, NRG and North, one of which was a total slaughter led by the mass murderers Forrest and Rez. Unfortunately for those guys, Astralis is answering the call. Topping the world's most wanted list, Astralis entered the finals, massacring Cloud9, leaving them to drown in a pool of loser blood. So now, as NIP stares into the eyes of the #1 team in the world, will they have the courage to take them down? Or will they just add to Astralis's mounting body count?
It's Astralis going up against the Ninjas in Pajamas. Two teams in very different stages of their lifespan. I think that's safe to say, right, Moran?
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a team that are doing what has never been done before to this level of dominance in the Counter-Strike scene at a time when we called it the most competitive, going up against a team who, well, they started it all, really. The organization certainly did.
Yeah, and they are starting to look flawed, and that's just kind of something I want to drive home, just so that this isn't a boring tournament.
Yes.
And it has made it so that, you know, open the doors for maybe MIBR to pull off an upset, and it not seem so crazy for people to understand how it happened. You know, the fact that they lost a 2, or they almost nearly lost to Fnatic at Fnatic in the semis, and they come here. They get through, but they also wanted to, it was NIP at Copenhagen that were looking to play them in the finals, that finished with 13 points, where Astralis fell short of second place, giving Na'Vi the spot, and Na'Vi were probably a worse matchup for NIP than Astralis were, so we never saw what happened or what would have happened in that grand final. So another chance here, and honestly, NIP are on form right now. Astralis are looking a bit shaky, so there's a chance.
They say they're shaky, but they are still far and above the best team in the world, Tommy. If you had to explain to me where that comes from, what is the source of what makes them the very best in the world while we watch them just pop heads? I mean, how would you summarize it? How would you TLDR?
I think one way to look at it is, I think they're the most professional team. And what I mean by that is, you know, they just do all the little things, and like cumulatively, the effect of that actually helps quite a bit. You know, they go to the office to practice. They don't play from home. They go to the gym in the morning. They have team meetings before all the matches. They go over the game plan in detail. They just do all these little things that over time will actually build up big advantages. And speaking of big advantages, you know, Nuke is a map that's almost certainly going to be played. NIP like the map today, and Astralis is 25-0 on it, Alex. That's gonna be a tough record to break.
I mean, in this tournament alone, Mousesports nearly did it, and I think, you know, the Astralis would announce
almost
that.
doesn't count, Alex. Yeah. That's what my grandma says.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's had a go, and they
That explains
get
a lot.
close.
That explains a lot.
Okay, what was this? Tommy's grandma saying?
Almost isn't good enough.
Oh, wow.
Almost doesn't count.
That does bring
That
so
could
much
that
clarity
could really leave a mark, right?
to the character. Yeah. No, it certainly does, and you can see some of your fan favorites on the screen.
But it is true. You can get double-digit rounds versus a team, and that doesn't count for anything at the end of the day, right? If you lose the map, it can if you have a stat with Astralis where it was like only 3 out of like 80 maps that they ever played that were that out of all the rounds all the matches they played where they won, you know, only 3 of them went into double digits. Yeah, like that's kind of a daunting scoreline on an individual basis, especially when they have a map like Nuke. It's like you really have to show that you can bring it to 16 rounds.
Yeah.
Like it might have been marginally close, but did they ever really lose control of the match? You know, even in that NIP match, it was like very close, 12-12.
Surely it's a game-by-game basis. I mean, there are some where Zipnix wins a 1v5 Ninja Defuse, and you sit there and go, well, you know what? He's done that to us. You know, we have no control over this game. There's other situations where you throw away a silly round and it's 16-14.
Let me put on my hosting pants for a second.
Yeah.
Tommy, I have a question. So statistically speaking, because there's so much variance in Counter-Strike with clutches, with multi-kills, do you have to factor that in when you consider how consistent a team is? Do you have to factor in these kind of unexpectable things?
I mean, I definitely think that consistency is even more impressive in light of all these things. You know, like going 25-0, people talk about the impact of pistol rounds, of getting reset on the CT side. All it would realistically take for Astralis to lose on Nuke is lose pistol, lose the first gun round, win the next round, get reset on the next round. You lose like maybe 6 of the right rounds, and you're 12 rounds in the hole. potentially more. I mean, it's so much about the economy and the management. It's just Astralis just somehow manages to win all the right rounds exactly when they need it, and that's what happened against Mousesports yesterday. They had 5 1v1s, I think, in a row, something like that, and any one of those would have been a reset. Instead, they won all of them and then cruised to a decent half at the end.
Well, talking of cruising, I think their opponents actually have been doing the most so far here in Arlington. It is NIP. I mean, these guys have just been kind of laying back. 1 best of 1, 1 best of 3, and they are here. They had the day off. They've been spending it wisely, I presume, in the lovely Texas sun. But they have got themselves into a position where we haven't seen form like this from a Ninjas roster in quite some time, Launders. And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. And we were talking about how this is kind of a legacy roster at this point. But Age has been kind to Forrest. He is the player that we talk about a lot now. It's basically him and Rez that are trading places in situations where they need someone to frag out. And that's a great thing for NIP. Forrest continues to amaze all of his fans. And I think that's a big reason that they can take games, and now a reason that today I actually feel confident they could take a map or 2. I really do think there's a world where that happens.
And where does that come from then? Where in your world does Dennis, Forrest, Get Right, Lecro, and Rez dethrone Astralis on a map or 2?
It would complete if we do see Nuke, and if we could say there's a high probability of seeing Nuke. We could say that because they're confident on it, maybe there's something there. I did want to say though, for Astralis on Nuke, one of the things that's most beautiful about their Nuke and just how they play T-sides in general is they will pick the same site maybe 5-6 rounds in a row, and then they'll find a number of different ways to fake and condition their opponents into still thinking that it's going to be A, for example, if they're trying to go B over and over again. So maybe they go B straight up the first time, outside smokes, get lower control, stop the bomb, or get the bomb down. And then the next round, they'll make it seem like it's going to be a squeaky pop, bait some utility from upstairs, and then make their way downstairs. And then the next time, they'll actually like have a lurk come out upper, and then they'll go ramp. You know, they'll constantly condition you into believing that they're finally going to change it up, and they don't. That's what Glaive loves to do.
Yeah, and that's what works so well for them. There would be kind of quite a story to it, wouldn't there, if we had none other than Forrest and Get Right finally breaking a Nuke win streak of Astralis. I mean, this was NIP, 2 of the guys behind that 82-0. I mean, they're familiar with winning streaks for sure. Yeah,
and they have a longer winning streak, I think, still on Nuke themselves. The difference is obviously, it's much more competitive now. I think Astralis' win streak is much more impressive on Nuke. But I think NIP actually won something like 27 in a row back in the 2012-2013 period. So technically now would be a good time to stop Astralis if they want to hold on to that record. And obviously, Get Right and Forrest in particular, they have a long history of just being at the very top, and particularly Forrest, given he's still at the very, very highest levels of play individually, it's just super impressive. He's been there for 13 years now. 13 years is an eternity, even in professional sports, and people talk about how reflexes, things like that, hurt you in Counter-Strike more, which I'm not sure I fully believe, but it's a game of pixels, and Forrest is still at the top 13 years later.
And that's what he's really great at doing. When he can aim at such a long distance with an M4A1, and he'll be able to hit headshots cleanly on quite a high sensitivity, to be honest, right? It's amazing. It is amazing.
It is amazing. And so is the head-to-head. That's what I wanted to take a quick look at, because we have put 2 players coming into the ring. Head-to-head. Exactly that. It's Rez and Magis. Speak of the devil. He is right there. 75.9 and 75.8. Look at that. Dead center ADR for the last 3 months. These 2 have been pulling equal weight. And I'm not surprised that Rez is just edging away in headshot percentage, given just how the mechanical precision of this man's crosshair.
Yeah, he's 20 years old now, I think. I'm not sure how old Magis is. Maybe around the same.
I think he's around.
Yeah, 24. I think 23.
Oh, he's a little bit.
Is he that old? I think he's like 2021.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
But either way,
I really don't care.
1 quarter into their life, right? Just the first quarter of their lives. And Rez at this tournament has been fantastic.
They certainly have. Hopefully we get to actually hear from some of these players as well, because I do see some fantastic, handsome Swedes and the fantastic Freya hanging out on the stage. So let's go ahead and check in to see what's going on that beautiful stage here in Arlington.
A beautiful stage indeed. I am joined by Rez from the Ninjas in Pajamas. So first off, Rez, how does it feel to be in front of this incredible crowd?
Great. I'm expecting a lot of cheering and a really good game.
They're very hyped. They are loud. I love it. Now, you guys had a day off yesterday. Were you exploring a little bit of the Texas lifestyle, or was it all practice and preparation?
We went actually to the Dallas Stars games versus Ottawa. And we won.
Very popular with the crowds. Now, you are coming up against the defending champions, Astralis. How are you guys feeling? Do you feel even more pressure to take them down?
No, I think we always play good against them, and we can always win against them, and anyway, we're here to beat their nuke streak as well.
Thank you so much, Rez. Now, I'm just getting word that Get Right is doing something kind of interesting behind the screen. Get Right, is this part of your preparation? What exactly are you looking at?
Well, you know, everyone has their own thing, warm-upping, you know, playing aim bots, all that things. You know, for me, I'm watching highlights of James Bardolph just before the game because, you know, like, just look at this. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to do that in game. You know, it's like a good thing to see, you know, like.
It's a very unique style. You looking to replicate Bardolph's style?
Well, I mean, see, like, you know, be ready for anything on the game, you know, be ready to wear nice clothes, you know, being such a great guy as he is, you know, he's a role model to me and everyone in the scene, you know, I just want to be, you know, giving the praise and the respect that he should get, you know, and, you know, it's games yet to frag Bardolph.
Well, each to their own. Thank you for that, Get Right. Alex, let's head back over to you on the desk.
Only cost him 10 bitcoins to have Get Right say that. It's a pretty good price, really, given today's market.
You know, these days, yeah.
Yeah, these days. To be fair, you made the deal 4 years ago. It's only finally come. 4 years, bit of a jump, Alex, bit of a jump. But let's get into this one and let's focus on the maps. Now, we've already been talking about it. We've been skirting around the subject that is whether or not we're going to be seeing Nuke. And I don't think there's any real. Is there a reality where they can avoid it? They'd have to ban it, but I don't think their map pool works that way, Tommy.
We're going to see Nuke. I mean, Rez even said himself. He even said himself they're here to break the Nuke record.
Maybe they just banned Dust 2, potentially.
That's probably going to happen. Let's see. So Astralis obviously take out Cash. That's what always is going to happen. Dust 2 gone for NIP. Astralis is surely going to pick Nuke.
They could pick Inferno, float Nuke, and then Nip
they're gonna pick Nuke.
They're gonna pick Nuke.
They're gonna pick Nuke. Come on, man.
Today,
they're 25-0 on it.
Okay, there we go. Easy.
That's right. If you're joining us here in the arena, you get to see Astralis play a map that they haven't lost in 24 offline maps.
I love
you get to witness, you get to be a part of what is history here in Counter-Strike in 2018. Train in response.
Train is the map that I always remember is the map that won Astralis the E-League Major. You know, the comeback versus Virtus Pro. I always come back to that with Blade, you know, calling the comeback, you know, showing that they aren't going to choke anymore.
To be fair, that was largely Kirby's game, actually. He was the best player on the server in that game. Great comeback, though.
Yeah.
Incredible, and we'll see more from Kirby, of course, in our next best of 3. But
so Mirage vetoed by Astralis. They've actually recently dropped off on Mirage quite a bit. They've had a few scares and a few games they've dropped off.
Oh my God, Nymph and Overpass.
That's very surprising because they won Overpass in Copenhagen, and Astralis have actually kind of steered clear of Overpass recently.
I thought for sure they'd get Overpass.
I was looking forward to a third map Overpass. To be fair, you can't really complain when you get Inferno as a third map. It still does seem to just hold water as being the most intense third map decider you could ever have in a big best of 3 on the stage. But I think Overpass makes more sense. I mean, Astralis have forged quite a dynasty on Inferno, and yet Overpass has been something they've actively avoided, Tommy.
But, I mean, in some ways, Alex, it has been opposite days here. We see Nuke being played in the opening day. We see Get Right preparing for an important game, watching Bardolph play Counter-Strike. I don't really know what else.
Even when Nuke is
in
the veto, it's poisoning the well. You know, then you just get a weird veto afterwards.
Yeah.
But to be frank, and not to dampen the mood, but I feel like if this goes to Inferno, it's Astralis for sure.
You saying it has to be a 2-0?
I think so, because I think they had a much better chance in Overpass. I thought they would play Overpass, and Astralis' Overpass is much better than Nips.
Okay, so it's time for us to start focusing on that first map and doing so rather quickly. The players are ready and raring to go. So let's focus on map 1, Tommy. It is going to be the big one, Nuke.
That's a tall order for NIP. Regardless of how they prepared, you know, what they think they found, I do think they probably spent a fair amount of time just preparing on how people have won rounds against Astralis in the past. And I'm pretty sure they'll have a very strict game plan on how to go about it, particularly on their T side. And I'd be surprised if we don't see some risky play, you know, some risk taking on the CT side, just a little bit on trying to get a read on Glaive's calling here.
I mean, that's going to be the big thing, right, Mohan? It's going to trying to understand the way Glaive's mind is working.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is really. He makes it seem like a gamble, but it's almost never a gamble, right? He uses their nades very efficiently. Chris J was talking about how most were throwing too many nades outside, just use it as a fake so that they could go down ramp, and then when they got down lower, they had no nades left over. That kind of utility usage is not something you would expect to see Astralis do wrong. I'd love to see like how that actually plays out in the match itself.
Well, fortunately, you can. We can see exactly how it plays out because the handsome men are on your screen. It's a little teaser of what is to come. Let's go ahead and head over to your casters. Henry G and Sadakist are going to be shouting all about this fantastic Counter-Strike that starts on Nuke.
No surprises there. Just throw us up when we are ready. That's fine. I'm always ready.
I was ready too. Matthew, I'm so ready for this semi-final, though. The fact we have Nuke to kick things off. Astralis, the guys build it up. 25-0 right now. NIP, they did say in the interview, Rez said he's here to break the streak today. And there's something about that statement. I feel like there's a chance. I feel like NIP may not be like a top 5 team in the world right now, but they can beat Astralis, one of the few teams that can actually do that.
This could be it. I've got this weird sinking feeling that this could be it. This could be the streak ending it. You're right. NIP is a team that's been pretty famous on Nuke in the past. They certainly come into this knowing it was going to be picked, and as Zonic said recently, every time they pick Nuke now, he holds his breath and gets a little worried because there's a massive sample size. Everyone knows they're playing it. Everyone knows that if they're going to be playing against them to review Nuke, so eventually someone's going to break the code, right? Eventually someone's going to counter them and anti-strat them and come up with a way to beat them, and every single time we go one further, the chances of that becomes more likely. So this could be it for NIP.
Well, unfortunately for them, it is going to be Astralis starting on the CT side, and that's a bit of an issue here. I feel like they needed everything to go in their favor. The knife round was actually pretty important. They will be starting on the T side here. NIP looking to challenge. They managed to actually do great at blast recently. This is probably the best looking NIP we've seen for a couple of years, and that's just due to the fact we've got the Youngblood Lekro coming in as the in-game leader now, kind of revitalizing the lineup, bringing it up to date in terms of today's meta, and he's continuing to frag like an absolute beast as well. We are a big fan of Lekro over here, doing a great job. And Red seems to be coming online as well. He seems to be quite streaky last year, but now he seems to be finding consistent form and finding world-class numbers. We saw the comparison between him and Mage's Boy. Mage is considered one of the best riflers in the world right now, and Rez is keeping up with him in terms of stats.
Yeah, absolutely. His rating's still well over 1, which is where it should be, all things considered if you're a top player, but with a team that's not winning as much, sometimes you struggle to find those numbers. So he's doing well, he's finding that form, and obviously on the team for over a year now, but he's had his moments in which he's been brilliant and carried them to victory. Oakland comes to mind last year, for example, as Astralis gets into the huddle and gets ready to roll. They've been talking it over quite seriously. Obviously, they have Zonic, and you've pointed him out as, or at least the one that you think of all the coaches is the most involved.
I just think he's the best overall package, right?
Sure.
Like, I feel like he's a very positive attitude, and this is a team, like, I know it's a while ago now, but they were mentally quite weak. If you remember the TSM days and early Astralis, like, they would always find themselves in semi-finals, not performing and looking very poor. And then now, Zonic has really kind of brought them to a level. Obviously, got loads of resources around them, sports psychologists, great organization behind them, but it's great to see Astralis now with this amazing storyline. Like, it's been a while. It's probably since NIP we haven't had someone this dominant in terms of a map run. I think NIP had similar numbers on Nuke.
Well, that's
back
what Tommy
in
was saying. I think he said it was like 27 or something on Nuke that they won in a row, which is also fitting. That's kind of like the, what was it, the 1972 Dolphins that went undefeated. And then the Super Bowl
You're asking me like
and then the Patriots lost in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't watch football that much, guys. I'm not going to lie about it. Anyway,
we're off.
We're off. We've got better things to talk about.
We certainly do. Let's get hyped. It is the semi-final here. NIP versus Astralis on, you guessed it, it's Nuke to kick things off. You're in for a treat here, ladies and gents. We will see Astralis opening things up with a few shots from Dupree, but nothing connecting just yet. He is going to be just trying to cut them off as they make their way towards the ladder here. Glaive, great with the pistols, but get right. He'll be the one to strike first blood here as he takes down Device.
Zipix backs away. Good find on Get Right. Has to get the reload in. Manages to do so before Rez could wrap. This is a full toilet bowl strategy around the outside of the whole map before they flush down the ramp to lower. So they've taken outside, pushed them back, gotten the kill, traded it off. Get Right, the only one to go down at this point in time, and Magiska's still holding on Heaven, unaware of exactly the location of those below him. Is there still problems? Is he going to be able to rotate down? Smart to go on the roof. Actually spots out Forrest. Easy shot because he was standing still at that point in time. So Patience from Magiska gets him one kill at the very least. Bomb's still up. Black Arrow has it. They haven't committed to lower yet. In fact, they rotated all the way through ramp and back to lobby at this point because perhaps anticipating Dupree's rotation, this is a smart play to work back onto Heaven and try and take the position back. Just Dennis gets there. Pistol kill for him yet again. And now Dupree realizes they aren't coming this way, which is, in fairness, the rotation I think everyone would have done at that point.
I love this from NIP. They're being very methodical. They're making sure that they're working together. They're not rushing the bomb plant. They're guaranteeing the site is clear even on the 3 versus 1. They've guaranteed the round. It's exactly what they need on Nuke. If they're going to have any chance of beating the mighty Astralis here, they need pistol victories, and this one is in the bag. dupreeh might just have to consider saving the armor. They're a team that likes to force buy in the second round. I'm not sure we'll see that so much on Nuke, but time will tell. I guess CZ's armor and a few smokes and grenades could actually be quite effective in the upper bomb site or towards lower. We'll see if dupreeh will find any sort of exit frags here, holding in towards the trophy room right now. And Rez, we talked about how sharp he's looked recently. That's a nice shot. Get right, though. Fantastic work with the Glock to open things up. Pretty basic approach from NIP, focusing towards outside. Maybe a read on Astralis' setup. You see, they didn't really have much presence out there at all. And Get right manages to get right in those windows and find multiple headshots there. Fantastic work by him. And Dennis, as you mentioned, nice smart play to get up towards the heaven position once again. Find the penultimate kill, and Rez. Pinpoint accuracy in the final kill. It is a force buy. There it is. dupreeh's got a CZ and a Zeus. Now, you don't see that buy too often.
Glaive still waiting up on top of the hut. dupreeh, he'll watch the door. Smoke goes down. More pressure toward outside. See if Device can find anything with the scout. That's not only a hard headshot, but a miraculously small gap for him to try and do so with. If he pulls a shot off, oh my goodness. I would have been astounded. He nearly got the chance to do it. He hit the body. In fact, he's done 3. So this brings the pistols into it because Glaive's going to sneak up. That's a dink as well, was it not? Oh, he didn't actually get a dink off. Barely touched Dennis at that position. Nonetheless, they get 2 kills in the favor of NIP.
My God.
Still 3 players solo, though, in dupreeh. CZ75. They're walking into him first, second, and potentially third. Rez slows up. Knew the information was there, but it's back to a 2-on-2.
Oh, they're floundering now. NIP in a lot of trouble as Mage is going to Mac 10. It's a 2-on-1. Dennis is 13 HP. You can see that Shake says it all. He knows they've thrown this round away. And as you can see in the bottom left, they sit there patiently, hoping Dennis can find some sort of magic here. He's got 35 seconds. To be fair, Mage's can device are low. He's got the AK, but it's going to take something absolutely brilliant here to stand a chance. He has no grenades, no health, up against 2 on a map where it's very difficult to get the bomb down. You've got so many positions to check, and this shouldn't be going in his favor. It looks like Astralis have done it. What brilliant positioning that was from dupreeh, especially as they close out the round. It's Astralis answering back in emphatic style. Matthew, 3 scout tags. Device doesn't get the majority of the kills, but he certainly wins the round for them.
Incredible. No, the damage is there. I mean, the scout, a lot of people think that you have to buy a scout, or sorry, if you're going to buy a scout, you have to get kills. You don't. The benefit of it for playing around pistols is that you can soften them up. You hit shots, you've got that movement speed, you suddenly make your teammates have a much better chance, or give your teammates a much better chance. We've got a technical pause. Just to note, one of the coaches has a TeamSpeak issue. So he wouldn't, I'm assuming obviously he's muted during the live time until we go to a pause. I'm assuming he can't even hear his team at this point, so they're gonna fix it. That happened mid-round. But 1-1, that's a brilliant return from Astralis.
And I was about to say, kind of makes sense with the CZs and the way Nuke operates. Like, you can make that work, and scout tags is exactly all you need. Device gets 3 of them. They fall back towards the lobby. dupreeh in position. Couldn't have been a better position. That's a classic, what we'd call off angle, somewhere you wouldn't anticipate a player to be. They just walk into his crosshair. He was on for 3 kills as well, but 2 was enough to secure the round. Dennis, who was one of the players that was tagged, and then the follow-up damage from Secret as well, left him on 13 HP. And there we have it. Astralis bite back. That's going to be so frustrating for NIP. It looked like they were a little bit in between decisions as they wanted to go outside, then took so many tags, had to go back to the lobby. But the thing is in Nuke, right? This should be just a standard. If you're going to go work outside, you need 1 player at least holding the vent in the lobby, just so you can stop those pushes. You're on that little ledge above the hut in the lobby. If you can just hold 1 player there just to stop those pushes, that should be a standard, really. You can't really take the risk of walking back to the lobby and hoping it's clear. They could be squeaky, they could be pushed up in radio. There's all sorts of things that could happen there. So great round from Astralis, bit of a nightmare for NIP as the technical pause continues. Looks like that TeamSpeak issue is just haunting us a little bit more. Just to note, there will be a force buy from NIP in response, of course. We've got Dennis on an AK-47. Rez has got the Scout, and then there are a few Deagles for Get Right, Forest, and Lekro.
And Lekro's Deagle is one of the best. dupreeh in this game also, arguably in that category.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, Lekro, dupreeh, Simple, like those are the names you looked for in the Desert Eagle department. Fantastic to watch. It's always a bit of a show. Nico as well. Give him a shout out in that department. Here we go, we're back into the action as we'll see 1 AK in the hands of Dennis. A player that's had a pretty turbulent year, but finally finding some form in 2018, just in time. And NIP needed him for the big tournaments this year, as we'll see the Incendiaries to deny a rush towards the hut or the squeaky door, and Dupree in his classic position on top of the hut.
And that's at that, the way it was thrown. Yeah, Dupree's going to drop down a little bit now with the UMP. Just fires in, finds Lekro. That's the first kill, headshot success. He gets tagged to 29, so he's got to be a little bit cautious of his positioning. Glaive has big garage outside, AK at range. That'll give him a fantastic position when they wrap around, if they wrap around onto the main entrance. And with Forrest on top, I would suspect they will. He'll drop down at some point in time. Device also prepared to see if they go towards Secret, so Glaive is covered off in at least knowledge that they could get up close and take the angle. As looking in that position isn't spotted, or has not spotted. Glaive patience. Does get Forrest, but Dennis responds immediately. Device now hopes they're going to wrap out far enough. Otherwise, it's all on Dupree. Trying to run again with that SMG, but get out the door. Great shot from Dennis as Device gets absolutely blown away. On the off angle as well, behind that air conditioning. That's not an easy shot.
Certainly not, but it looks like an easy round for Astralis now. Rez with the scout. He probably hits his head shot, not quite gets the body shot, as he will tag Zipex, but that's going to be 2 kills for him on the Orc. Lovely work. That's Astralis fending off the force buy. NIP suddenly made it dangerous for the Danes there, but overall it finishes off in quite a comfortable manner. We'll see NIP on the full eco here. Not really much you can do on Nuke with the full ecos. You can try and drop the drop the bomb down the vents, and maybe rush ramp, get a trade. Options very limited. I think they're going to go for a fast play outside, maybe just jump on the silo and try and flood out towards the outside bomb site. So we'll be done. We'll see. It's going to be Device with the MAC-10 looking to farm some frags here. He might go down, but he has got the bomb. And it looks like it's going to be a clean sweep, not quite. Dennis will get 1 kill there with the CZ. I think that's probably all he's going to find. I think that's a fair assessment at this point.
Yeah, and it was obviously Device he was going to get. He was rushing down and out of ammo, switching over to the USP to get a kill himself. And to be fair, he really lined up on that for him.
It's not the worst thing in the world to happen to Device, because he had the MAC-10 there, and now he can just buy the AWP, right? He can bring that out right in time for the first gun round, so it's not too detrimental at all. It means he doesn't have to make that decision to just keep his SMG and save the cash. It's actually probably be working out better for them, him dying. So there you go. AWP will come out. 2 Orcs now. It seems like Zipex will be joining Aegis there. They've got an AK as well on the CT side. We're getting into it. NIP with a couple of compromises. So you get right there with the UMP as they head towards outside. The grenade doesn't land. Glaive is one of the most tricky players to negate outside. So strong, so sneaky. Great variation of aggression and holding in towards positions like the garage and secret steps. Right now he's at main entrance. First kill comes in, that's going to be Zipex taking down Lekro. No trade, no damage in return, and this is looking great for Astralis once again.
Nice. Ooh, scoped in, didn't realize he was actually visible from the top side of that red crate. Takes some damage. See it from his perspective as Magisk absolutely obliterates Dennis at range. So 2-man advantage for Astralis, things all going well to keep the streak alive at this point, because CT side start, win back on the second round, and NIP struggling to now get things rolling when they get guns back in their hands. Glaive, perfectly timed flash, gives him a chance to fire at Rez. Forrest makes it by. He's got the bomb, he's got lower to work with, no one rotating as of yet, but keep in mind ramp is certainly a possibility, and I do believe I just saw Zipex heading in that direction, so he's got the AUG at the ready, get right gone, secondary peek will confirm it.
Yes.
Using the scope on the weapon as well. Some are, some aren't. Forrest will spray him down at least in return.
Well, they don't really have the challenge for us at all now. He can't really plant, wait for him to commit. It's time that's against him. As Astralis hold up another 3 versus 1. Decent effort from NIP to even get it down to a position where they might win it, but overall, very simple procedure here. Astralis will close things out. The Orcs seeming to be more and more part of their game every single day. As we get into round number 6, NIP looked like they couldn't really break outside whatsoever. I'm not sure if they could spot the Device, but they were shooting and doing damage here. It was just like they couldn't click on the head. I know it's an awkward angle behind those steps, but...
yeah, the railings as well.
Yeah, it was an opportunity for that frag, a very important one, but Magis was there to bail Device out, and they'll go for the partial buy here as a home in on maximum loss bonus. Deagle's armor, 1 smoke, a Molotov. They're going to send 4 players outside and holding 1 towards the lobby this time. That's what you have to do. You have to have someone in the lobby just holding it off as Glaive lights them up. He does a lot of damage there. 2.5 kills coming in. Magisk with the AUG. Closes things out. It's going to be Zipex with the AK. And it just feels like another day in the office for Astralis right now, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely it does. This is just standard procedure at this point in time. Obviously the max loss bonus, you mentioned it, will allow a bye yet again for NIP. No bomb plants at all in any of those 5 rounds.
So what kind of approach are we going to see from NIP? We're just going to go with defaults here, outside smokes, try and get towards secret. Are we going to have any upper fakes here? 3 players outside for now. Bomb's going to be there. They don't take any initial nade damage, but Dupree suddenly does. And this is what I'm talking about. Glaive likes to mix things up. He likes to get stuck in sometimes, even by himself. He'll have 3 players behind him now at C-Red. Let's see how this one goes down. He's got the orbit device backing him up.
Yep, this one flash down the stairs, and around they go. Inside waiting toward the decontamination room is Dupree.
Oh, good
split
smoke.
map. It's easier to tell where people are rather than trying to guess or anticipate rotations based on assumptions. So Rez laid down. That'll open something up for them, but it just takes Rez back before he can retreat down the stairs, join his team in the lower approach. I mean, just still worried about Hut at this point in time, and rightfully so. Bomb is actually upper. 2 CTs still down below as well, so Magisk's pretty much left on his lonesome. This is another strategy in which they forced a rotation out of Astralis on the NIP side, similar to the pistol round, and they go back to upper in the end. Bomb plant this time for certain, as Forrest will put it down.
Here we go, a very promising situation for NIP. Great awareness of Rez to take down Glaive. They obviously knows his tendencies. They've been studying the demos and know his moves, but Device, oh my goodness, I thought he had the second as well. Great attempt. Get right. Will be tagged up to 15 HP. It's a 2 versus 3 now. Zipek's going to be dropped there. Great positioning by Dennis. Bomb down. Dupree have had a chance here. Lovely work from NIP there. That's the default, what we were expecting. Smokes outside, 3 players towards lower. They were smoked off. Rez was actually watching the flanks, and as I said, probably knows the kind of positions Glaive likes to play. Takes him down, and then all hell breaks loose. May just pulled 1 back, but NIP recovering the situation, managing the plant. No problem whatsoever, and doing a very good job in terms of awareness of the potential flanks there. Could have got very dicey with Device pushing towards that ramp. But there we go, 5-2. NIP have arrived. First gun round in the bag, but they are nowhere near breaking the money just yet.
Nowhere near at all. To keep some residual cash for Lekro, Dennis, and Forrest, obviously. Just as we look back, Get Right, closing it out on Device. You did mention the positioning from Dennis as well. That was pretty clever because he looked to the door. He had just enough of an angle to close out the kill. As Glaive goes back down off of the catwalk, he'll work inside of main, watching for a wrap outside. Standard default Molotovs. This time they go a little bit deeper inside of the hut from Heaven, so they're covering off Hut and Squeaky every single time. Early, we know that the rush or vent dive is very prominent. So it seems weird because you always talk about on other maps when the CT side has utility, not to use it too soon. You don't want to bait it out, but in Nuke, it's very important to actually stop that vent dive.
Absolutely, it can be very powerful. They rush towards the hut and Squeaky door because you can't actually sit above those positions on this version of Nuke. You have to throw the incendiaries at the start, otherwise they can just get out together, overwhelm the bomb site. You need a bit of time to set up your defense, so incendiaries are a must, and that's why the economy on the CT side of Nuke is so important, because they're quite expensive, those grenades. Zipek's considered to be one of the best ramp players in the game. Will be holding up patiently, but his mages to get first blood here, as he will be taken down, and it's going to be Lekro to drop him with the AK-47. Device can't hit the shot. NIP might be onto something here.
Absolutely, they might be. Device just barely missed. More so, Magisk kind of got caught out falling off the doorway. It bobbled his movement just enough as Device tries to fire back into the smoke. Get Right gets him in return. Able to figure out where he was by way of sonar. Does get out to emerge and find Get Right, but Forrest immediately there to trade it, and it's Zipix and Dupree looking to save weapons. So 2 in a row now for NIP. You said it last time, they weren't quite close to breaking the money. Well, now they are.
Absolutely. There'll be 1 more buy available, especially if Astralis can hold on to these M4s, but that's lovely work from NIP once again. As I mentioned in the pregame, it's Lekro that continues to find their strong form, even though he's switched over to the in-game leader position in the last few months, and great entry towards upper. He only has 2 kills to his name, but they've been very impactful. If you get that 1 kill in the upper bomb site, that allows you to actually get that bomb down quickly. The retake on upper, especially with the T's and the man advantage, can be very difficult. As Astralis give the round up, it is Dupree and Zipex confirming the save with the M4s there. 5-3. Dennis with the AWP as well. It was Device that was dropped in the previous round. They recovered that from his body, so they get 1 for free. I would say NIP are going to need like 6 or 7 rounds here to be convinced they can do this, as Device brings out potentially his final AWP. Hasn't stunned NIP with it just yet.
Nade.
Yes.
Off the fence. Didn't quite do as much damage as I would have thought. I would have thunk it. That's pretty sweet. touchdown pass. Glaive takes 2 damage from that smoke grenade. Device has the position at Secret to at least watch if they go to the backside of the red crate. Smoke's still down. Won't give him too much availability toward main, but that's going to fade.
Oh, he's dead.
And, oh, he is. Lecro's got the angle. He snuck around. He was scoped in corner. That's why he walked around the backside of the silo.
That's great work from Lecro. Another opening kill for him. And it takes down Device. Dennis with the AWP. NIP might have a strong game plan here. It looks like they're aware of all the tendencies. Perfect flashbang. Their teamwork is just stellar as they find themselves in a 4 versus 2, but Dufree spraying a couple down. Zipex, oh my goodness, he's in a 1 versus 1 up against Get Right here. He's got the bomb on his back.
Yeah, that's the advantage that Get Right has right now. It's certainly HP advantage to Zipex, but Get Right can get down low, force Zipex to have to run. Now he is smartly going to go to heaven and go to the ramp, so Get Right's going to have him on his case as soon as this bomb is planted. That's a very quick rotation from Zipex, knowing that he was firing and dropping into the ramp, but it's Zipex that had high HP and can't find the kill. How often do you see him lose in that situation?
You're absolutely right. He knew exactly where Get Right was as well. As he looks down towards that silo position, you think he's going to win that one, no problem. But Get Right, a great couple of rounds from him, as we will see the money broken for Astralis at this point. It's a tactical timeout for the Danes. If you are just joining us, this is our first semi-final of the day, and we've got Nuke as the first map of the best of 3. Astralis with their unbeaten streak of 25-0. It could be challenged here today. On stage, Rez did mention they're here to break that streak. And so far, I'm actually looking pretty convinced, Matt. This is impressive. They could do this.
This is, yeah, it's not that they're getting a few rounds. They're getting them convincingly now. Considering they had no bomb plants in the 5 that they lost, it didn't suggest to me that this was suddenly going to emerge, but strategically, they're taking outside. They've cordoned off Device entirely and rendered him useless in 2 rounds now. And not only, as I mentioned, breaking down the money here, but they're also trading super effectively when they're taking outside. And they know, as you say, the tendencies. They knew where Glaive was playing, that flashbang designed to take him out of it, render him useless. Pretty solid so far from NIP. Glaive sitting backside of the smoke, sees that 75. Might get one if they're a little too careless in their positioning. In fact, he swings around just as Lecro through an AD, gets the AK because no one's watching him. Luckily, Rez turns with reactions of a cat.
Indeed. Wow, that AK being picked up, I thought there was a chance for multiple kills there for Glaive, but no armor on him, so gets the one. That's pretty much what he is worth. Good positioning, nice little push, but they will not be recovering that rifle as Get Right takes down Dufree at the same time. May just pulls another one back. Still a competitive round here. They've got an AK, he's actually held onto it, so this could turn on its head. Astralis with no nades now, but May just 100 HP and armor. With the AK-47, it could be enough. It's Device spots another. The Rez again in a great position, but not for long. Mages will take him down.
And that's bomb. Oh,
what?
Forrest just absolutely deleted Magisk.
Well, that's round because Zipex surely can't find anything with this. P250.
That was insane.
Was it like a little one tap?
I want to see that in slow-mo. Yeah, like bomb was down outside, but just because Silo, he can control his angle and control the peak, and Forrest just goes, nope. So you're right, Zipex doesn't have a lot to work with. P250 knows they're heading toward main. Here's them, backs off, wants the angle to try and catch them on the way by, but Forrest seemingly is aware of that. He'll walk around the corner to take out Zipex as well. 5-5, 4 in a row for NIP.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. They're turning up to this game. It's 5-5, you are right. Let's have a look at it then.
Oh!
See you, mate.
What? I can't even see him. That's ridiculous.
Well, could have been one of the most important shots of the game because that was so close to them losing to an eco that they managed to pull it off, and we go back to a gun round here. Glaive, like I said, mixing things up every single round, but this is the fast approach. Get Right trying to get in those vents. He actually gets towards main entrance. He's going to struggle here. This is a really awkward spot for him to be through, but he does survive for now. 35 HP. That grenade, will it kill him? Not quite. As Glaive follows it up, it's going to be a 5-4 in favor of Astralis.
So yeah, they can make it all work out with Device playing a much tighter angle this time, forced off it. Rez is seemingly aware of the possibility. Flash as well. They force him further away. Rez nearly got a shoulder bait out. Still, though, they want to get around the corner, and Device finding his next lane. He's basically falling back to each and every corner at this point in time. Flash doesn't go far enough. They thought it did. Device gets Dennis for it. So a small error in the throw, or at least the knowledge of the angle, and Device gets one back as Rez, there's a perfect Molotov that time, and forces him off the stairwell. Force has also got Dufree. They're pulling it back slowly, but a lot of room to work with, and even though they're inside of the site, Xipix is already there. That was nearly a headshot in his direction.
Yeah, Forrest is looking unbelievably sharp today. You give him any sort of opportunity, he's going to find that headshot, and that's an exciting prospect as this game starts to warm up. We will see Xipix close things out. Quite a decent round there from Astralis. Only one player goes down, that was Dupree, as NIP have built themselves a nice reservoir of cash here. They've got 7k on Dennis, they'll definitely be buying up into this round as Astralis will take the lead once again. They'll be hunting for the 10-5. That'll be a pretty decent half, all things considered. But here we go, round number 12 coming through. We've got the AKs out in full force, just no Lecro, no helmets, makes it very squishy to the M4s especially. And now it's the outside play once again. But remember, you can do different variations here. You want to be dropping those outside smokes every single round just to take vision away, maybe force a rotation. You don't have to send 3 players there. You could send 1 or even 0 as you prepare for something else. It's just having those tendencies to show the outside smokes. And this is perfectly demonstrated now. They'll do the smokes but not use them at all, just to keep Astralis guessing.
So Rez toward the hut. Slows it up. Not a lot of aggressive play toward hut from Astralis. That's one thing that, if you compare Liquid's Nuke, for example, where they have Twist, who's constantly pushing through, or at least time to push to lobby, Astralis tends not to do that. They play Dupree inside. Oh, this flash, the rotation. How does Magisk get away with that? Glaive blocks him. Glaive could have easily gone down in that situation. He will now, but Magisk gets 2 while sitting there blocking his teammate with an AUG crouched as they were overwhelming the site. Dennis, 1 headshot, follows it up, but Xipix trades. And Astralis finally pull around back to go 7-5, so 2 in a row now for them, and money's starting to be a factor again for NIP.
My goodness. Let's have a look at these kills there. It looked very scrappy. He was fully blind there, Matt, as well. In the flames, in the smoke. He gets 2 kills for it. Device backs him up. Oh, a little bit lucky there, but I guess in that sort of angle, all you have to do is, once you know where the hut door is, just keep spraying at it. They were blind and bumping into each other, but they pull it off. It will be 7-5 and another eco for NIP here, as we'll have Deagles, no armor, a couple of P250s, and Rez and Get Right just on Glocks here. So a chance for Astralis just to pick themselves up here. It was a rough sequence of rounds for NIP, but his Device, very defensive position. When you're up against the pistols, you do not want to give him that AWP, and he's aware of that. Makes sure that he just plays very defensively, and with his teammates, as Glaive is getting revenge towards that sideline position. My goodness, that was brilliant, as he looks clinical today. It's going to be 5 players surviving for Astralis, and a nice aim display there from Glaive.
Tag through the smoke, certainly know he's there. He just was attentive elsewhere because he didn't quite react quickly, but still did take down Lecro in the end. So Astralis now with 8. If they can hold NIP to 5, certainly they'll be in a good position when they cross things over. Both teams certainly capable of, we've now seen from NIP more than anything, that their T side has something with it, but Astralis absolutely has a plan on this map. We know that very well.
Well, here we go then. Tactical timeout, the first for NIP. Working out what their play is going to be. We saw them try a variation there. They've been running lots of defaults. That was the default in a sense. They did the same smoke, suggesting they were sending 3 players down towards Secret as usual, but no one went out there, and you could see Astralis didn't take the bait whatsoever. They felt very happy keeping 3 players in the upper bomb site, sprayed them down, and that's why NIP are just taking a moment now to discuss their options. They just go back to what was working. They managed to get 5 rounds on the board. Remember, they did win the pistol, but they didn't get the follow-up rounds. It's actually 4 really solid gun rounds they managed to put on the board here, but I see they need like a couple more to really give me hope that they can do this against Astralis on Nuke. Dennis with a very good spawn. We'll see if he wants to use it. We haven't seen an upper rush or anything like that from NIP just yet. They're very methodical on Nuke, it seems, as we get into it. It's round number 14, the dying stages of the first half. Get Right with no grenades whatsoever. And that might be because he's going to be sacrificed down the vent, because he's got $1,000. He actually had enough to buy. Oh my goodness, they're not even have a chance to do that strategy. Glaive mixes things up, but he will go down here, surely. You've got to find this kill. Oh my goodness, Dennis, how have you not traded that out?
Glaive gets away. They're trying to get him through the garage as he falls back inside of the site, but Glaive now with 2 rounds in a row where he's found 2 kills outside is completely stifling any chance that NIP has. They've been overwhelming outside. That's their best position so far on this T side.
Dennis had to find that kill. That was a trade, if ever I've seen one. Glaive in the open with such a disadvantage in the positioning, but either way, it's at the Mages. They're not checking towards the heaven position. He'll punish them for it. Why are they both looking at hut?
Yeah, I think they expected there was going to be someone wrapped down round by Squeaky.
They've killed Dupree,
right.
who
2
plays
players,
the hut.
one look one way, one look at least check heaven. It's so common, but Rez now goes into 1-on-4, bomb in his hand. Very little to work with, although it does have 100 HP. Smoking a flash for whatever it's worth. 52 seconds to work with. And the whole map to play with. They haven't really taken a whole lot of map control away from this. They still do have vision outside, so it's not like he can roam freely, and Magisk will cover off the ramp. This will be the first battle, and a passes that with flying colors, down to 52. So he lost 48 HP on the fight, but he's opened up a passage. It goes to lower occupied as well by Glaive. Already with the two, he gets more control, but he's low HP. Rez pulling this back, this is possible. He's got time now to plant as well. Smoke already deployed, those vents don't come into the site anymore. So he'll get the bomb down, and he can actually sneak potentially back through the doorway should he want to do so. They're closed. He's going to use the smoke as a wall, try and stay within it and spot if anyone comes in from decontamination, but there's a timer on that, and he has to get away from it. They hear the doors open. They'll now be suspecting that he'll go toward control room. And he's got the next kill as well. Device down. He can win this out. Xyp9x trying to get on top of it. Has a kit to play with, but he's tapped it. He's gone it this time. He's holding. Rez needs to go now if he's going to, and he's not. Xyp9x gets away with it just barely, even though Rez still gets the kill.
Such a great effort there from Rez. My heart bleeds for him. That was so well done, very smart, and unfortunately can't quite stick the landing there. Yes, he might have damaged up the money. We're going to round number 15. They've got plenty of cash here, and unless he wins the round, that was all in vain. Oh my goodness, fantastic work on such low HP as well. If he had just gone for this kill a little bit earlier, he would have had it. He even knows exactly where the bomb's planted. Executes Xyp9x there, but not quite enough to win. Final round now. Astralis looking for double digits, which is about where you'd expect them to be. It was looking so good for NIP when they broke the money down, especially. We thought they might be able to win the half, but they still could get 9-6. That would be, in my opinion, a good half on the T side of Nuke. That's if they get it, though. They're running out of utility. This time using the outside smokes once again. It looks like they might commit at this point, using the Molotov to flush out any close-range CT players. Normally Device, this time Glaive, actually playing inside the garage. This looks likely to be lower presence. Will they commit to it, though? They'll flash down, and that's where Device is. He dodged it so well. And they think they're clear, but luckily for them, he does miss the shot.
Yeah, Rez has been very accurate in shoulder peeking in that position. It seems like every time he's not revealing more than a pixel of a small piece of fabric on his sleeve. So Device was always going to have a hard time hitting it. Great positioning again from Ajisk. He's really using those silos in the site to his advantage. Ooh, gun barrel spotted. That's Rez close out on Glaive, but he couldn't do so before Forrest was found. So Rez finds himself in a similar situation with worser odds, despite being against one less opponent. He does not have the bomb, and he's already on 56 HP this time. So Astralis looking to wrap this out, 10-5. Try to put them on pace for perhaps their 25th win on Nuke without being beaten on the map. Getting closer to that, what Tommy thought was 27 for NIP, so they're closing down on the longest streak on any map ever.
Well, there we go. It is 10-5. We'll have a look at the frag shots. Mages, 18. Glaive with 16. At the top for NIP is going to be Rez, a player we pointed out at the start of the game who's looked fantastic in 2018. As we'll swap things over, NIP managed to win the pistol in the first half, but couldn't follow it up. It was the CZs and Scouts especially of Astralis that shut them down, and then that's when things became very difficult for them. But 5 rounds is certainly enough here on Nuke. If they can get a CT pistol, I might start believing once again. We'll have a look at the buys. Dennis with 1 smoke. He's got the defuse kit as well. In terms of Astralis' setup, do they have a P250? They do indeed. It's going to be in the hands of Device, but no armor on him. He's got a smoke and a flashbang. As he heads towards outside by himself, he's looking for the 1-taps here. Let's see if he can find one.
Device comes close with the P250, but Lekro has to back off. So Astralis almost doing the exact opposite of what NIP did, where they went outside on their pistol round and perhaps back toward ramp. They're going to push straight through ramp and get to outside. Lekro giving up that position so quickly allowed them to do so, and he's still at battle. He's still at odds trying to work back out and get position. Somehow it comes to a 3-on-3 though. Get right, and Forrest. He used to be magic on pistols back in previous iterations. Hasn't really been that way in CSGO since probably late 2014. He'll get taken down by dupreeh, and great awareness finds Lekro working out as well. It's now on to just get right.
My goodness, dupreeh. That was quite beautiful. The fact he even knew a player becoming the steps, but do they know where Get Right is? He spots him going up the ladder here. He can get up here silently. He might be able to find both of these kills if he's quick here. Oh, spots dupreeh. Oh my goodness. The timing is impeccable. Just as he checks it, that's when dupreeh well actually commits, and there it is. Get Right with a chance there, but there he is, the man himself. So many excellent shots there with the Glock. Look at him go, 4 in total as he finds the first, executes one in the back, and then this shot is one that really impressed me. The fact that Lekro just got eviscerated there, and dupreeh finished the things off the ladder as well. Get Right was onto something there. He had the timings almost perfect.
Yeah, if he hadn't just committed, I think the first time he wanted to check it smartly, but he might have caught them off. So 2 pistols done, one going to each team. Astralis was able to eco. Remember, it was the 3 tags from Device, I guess forced by that stole them back the round. So NIP going to try and replicate that, but they haven't done the same in terms of weaponry. They've elected to go for the full save and bring money out more effectively. So this could be a 12th given away to Astralis. As a result, they'll go against Dennis downstairs to start it off. And stood there and took a number of bullets by the looks of it, but he will die eventually.
Yes, this is the eco, just to note, they did not force like Astralis did, so there's almost no chance now. Well, that pretty much confirms it. Rez not going to get that frag, tantalizingly close, but it's going to be Get right now. PD50 didn't know where he is. 12-5, oh my goodness, planning by himself. Brave, but they will keep all 5 alive. Matthew, it looks like the streak might be safe at this point. 12-5, and the guns are coming out, but this is a weak buy. You can see on the 3rd, you will not have the AWP. This is where you're to rush up if you're Astralis, right? Because you know they probably don't have the incendiaries. You've got 4 UMPs. I'm rushing up all day long at this point. That's my call. All ramp.
They've got 1 incendiary. It's Get Right that elected to go to the SMG for it, but that's a wise call. The utility is certainly not there. Magisk wants Silo, so that suggests to me they won't necessarily go all in on that. Oh, he's going to rush it, though. Forget Silo. You want to be fast. Goes toward the main entrance. Rez with the hold. Forrest follows it up as well. So they are doing this with just weapons. Forget the utility. Get Right, excuse me, is still up in this. I thought it was going to be Glaive that was walking through to be found on it. It's Device. Yorick in the doorway. Glaive trying to get to the fence silently. 16 HP, has the bomb, drops. They know he's there, expecting someone to perhaps chase him down.
He's on supply, doesn't he?
And they won't.
Oh, hello.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear.
James, what have you done?
Is he playing around with the server again?
Why have you done this, James?
Well, the game is still, it's not the server, it's our end, I think. Because I can see the player cams, they are celebrating.
Exactly. Oh, there we go. See, we just left, it was a cliffhanger.
And the bomb was planted, just to note. So Glaive actually got a kill and the bomb planted. So that's actually quite considerable cash coming in his bank account, especially. So there is now the first gun round to deal with. So that was Astralis going with a very fast pace, not necessarily an upper rush. They had a couple of smokes and one player who was going to go fast towards the main entrance. That was Mages with the rifle, but he got taken down early, and it will be NIP with a comfortable round there, but still, with the reinvestment of the grenades, lots of reset potential here. Astralis are aware of it as the second half truly begins now. And they're going for the outside smokes as usual. We'll see if they commit to a fast play towards the lower site. There's going to be 3 players committing as we're fine. It's all good.
Just testing to make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah.
Keeping you on your toes. It's Lekro, you're right, this started off. Xipix to go down. Device wants to follow the same path towards Secret, but they're a little late getting there, so Smoke's gone. He thinks maybe he can get a pick off of that. Slows up to look at the windows, but down they go. Just to ramp. Haven't occupied. If they could win one of the 2 positions, it would certainly aid their take toward the ramp room. And without committing on a Secret, give them a lot more options to try and take the upper side, as well as Magisk now gets away from ramp room, rotates back towards Squeaky. Rez has found a follow-up kill against Astralis. So now that the guns are out, NIP looking convincing perhaps to get this to 12-7. It's certainly doable on the CT side to pull this back. Does he see? I can't. The yellow beam is just in the way. I was going to say, does he see the gun barrel sticking out? He can't.
Oh, I hope he gets something, though. That's not bad. That shot is absolutely brilliant from Mages. And he still knows there's a chance there'll be a player towards the rafters. He's being very tentative here to try and pull this round back.
Molotov going to the left side means the Get Right. Good play from Dupree. And they checked it. He was certainly aware. That's why he stayed back so long, Magisk. Molotov on one side, Nate on the other, weakens up Get Right. He still swings to find one, and that is Magisk, but Dupree, immediate trade, bomb plant immediately after, so they've pulled it back from a 5-on-3 to a 2-on-2, as it's Lekro and Dennis that have to pull it to NIP's favor, and they've got 1 kit.
Remember, this is the reset as well. So much on the line here for NIP. Not only be 13-6 down, they'll have no cash going forward. Lekro needs his first kill, but Device just too precise, as it will be the 2 versus 1 now. Dennis can do nothing about it. It will be 13-6. And that's the nightmare scenario. NIP looked like they could potentially break Astralis in the first half of those 4 gun rounds in a row. We thought they had the game plan, but this is now an absolute disaster. Look at this play from Dupree. The fact he gets in towards ladder, they have no idea. Good trades, fantastic timings. And we'll see Device in a clinical manner finish things off there. That should be the map here, unfortunately, for NIP.
Yeah, I think it's most likely concluding in that way. Get Right's gone to the shotgun. Plays on top of the hut with it. That's a natural position. See if he can feed himself anything with it. Device was so damn fast. behind the silo that first kill. They wanted to trade it. They were working together to retake the site, and he just completely removes them one by one. Still going for the execution. They've got full utility, not taking any chances, not knowing what they're going to be up against in terms of weapons as force buy from NIP. Don't want to be caught off by it. You always stress this, Henry. Do the bare minimum, do the basics, play the default, don't get overwhelmed.
That's all you have to do. That's absolutely right. You just want to make sure you're not rushing to situations. Just get the information you need, trade the kills out. That's pretty much it. If you're committing to a really tight choke point by yourself against pistols, you've probably done it wrong. You're risking too much, and you might give up an AK, for example. So upper execution looking likely here, with Device setting one up for the heaven position. This is Majors molotoving on top of the huts. They're going to try and flush out the CTs first. They might not even commit to this, though. They could just see what the reaction is, but they do go for the squeaky door. Get right, you are done for, my friend. Where's the backup? There it is. Rez with a fantastic shot with the scout. Bomb's actually down, but so are his teammates, as he'll be dropped on the bomb side there. Matthew, this was the force buy, and it's going to be 14-6. Money is just not going to be there for NIP.
Very little Rez could do on the floor with the scout.
Good effort.
And no one supporting him. It was a great effort, but one kill is all he was good for. And
yeah.
Lycro now trying to save this M4. You're right. It's pretty obvious at this point how this game's shaping up based on the economy being so far against NIP.
Their only hope is to save this one rifle, but I'm not sure that's going to be the catalyst to success going forward. We will see. They'll have to force buy here. They cannot allow Astralis to get map points so early on. They're going to have to try and fight it the best they can. If they can somehow find their feet, it's CT side of Nuke. They can definitely bring this right back. They just need to win a couple of rounds in a row, get their money sorted. But that's a massive, massive if. I'm not sure it's going to be possible, but they're going to have to force buy around this 1M4. It's all they've got. Need to deny map points, so they'll go with CZ and Deagle, surely. Maybe a timeout required here just to discuss their options. Haven't bought anything yet. There we go. They have to. There's no two ways about it. They have to go all in for this. So 1M4, 4 pistols. It's not impossible. You've got some of the greatest Deaglers in CSGO on NIP. You got Lecro, you got Forest. As Rez, he isn't bad either. There we go. Nice headshot to kick things off, and he gets away.
Does get away. Gets away fairly clean as well. 74 HP. That changes. No, it doesn't. It didn't actually connect. I thought Glaive might have clipped his ankle bone. His Achilles heel on the way back. Train is next. That's NIP's pick, just to note. Glaive already gets down towards Secret, and will start to rotate into an empty site. No one's gone down the vents yet. No one's pushed back off the ramp. They've not needed to at this point in time, and I'm not sure they're fully convinced that they're in that position yet. Although I say it, and that's exactly when Lecro goes. He's the one with the rifle. That would be enough perhaps to dissuade Astralis from taking over the B site. That single kill on Glaive might be enough to say, hang on guys, we got an M4 down here. That's probably the gun saved last time, the only gun in the round. No need to battle against it.
It's getting quite tense here. NIP might be onto something at this round. Rez, with the early commitment, does get that first kill and takes down one of the key fraggers.
Lecro's position's decent as well. I'm pretty sure he's in the corner on the catwalk. So he's above decontamination. You can't walk through from the vents anymore. He can actually control the entire front side of the site. And if they walk out and don't think he's there, he can deny the bomb if they go lower.
You're absolutely right, and he has the actual rifle there, but that's the advantage given away as we do find some success here. A lot of it as Lecro will find 2 more kills, and now it's a 4 versus 1. Like I said, if NIP can somehow win this round, it isn't over just yet. They're on the CT side of Nuke. Life in them yet, as they will recover 4 rifles here and have money going forward. This is actually looking like they could be onto something. That had to happen. There was no two ways about it. They had to win that round, and they pulled it off. Rez with a fantastic shot. I think that was his 16th kill outside. He's been playing very well. We need the other guys to step up right now, but it's not too late. They avoided that point.
Lecro only has 8, but those 2 are huge.
Yeah.
He played that super well, knowing that he came down from ramp. There's no chance that there wasn't no chance, but pretty good chance they weren't going to be there. Watched it just in case, but knew they were inside Secret and denies everything. That's brilliant. Get some guns for it. They get some AKs for it. Rez, mention, goes down. Device and Dupree to open it up, so it could be another reset situation again, and map point for Astralis. We are still looking at a pretty tumultuous task if you're NIP. Dennis does find one, tries to transfer back outside and find a different angle, unaware the Device was also inside of the big garage. Now goes into battle patience. He just can't land the shot. Device puts it to just Lecro, then through smoke. Zipix has him.
Well, just as I built up that huge comeback,
I don't blame you for building it up. It was a worthy effort.
Well, that's the end of the hype, I'm afraid, because that's the reset again. And now we need 8 rounds in a row just to survive. And that's to get into overtime. So Astralis, very fast approach, the upper split, finding every single kill, as we'll have an M4, a UMP, 3 pistols. I don't think they'll be pulling this one off. Astralis have learned their lesson. They might just straight up rush up here by the looks of things and just get it done. Get it over with, as they will. They're going to be flashing, smoking towards upper. There's a player on top of the huts. They'll be taking care of him, no problem, and surely trading out Get Right as well. He'll still be alive on the sides, and it looks like we are done. It is going to be 16-7 as Get Right, oh my goodness, has a chance here, but there it is. The final kill, it comes through. Astralis remained undefeated on Nuke map.
They do 25 wins now on Nuke. They're 2 away from what Tommy claims is the longest on any map. That is by NIP at 27 on Nuke back in 2012, 2013. So this is remarkable, and we are in a far more competitive era right now. So incredible stats. Train is next. Astralis at 16-7. Never really looked.
Great aim from Forrest, that amazing shot towards Silo. It's their map next. And Astralis, they haven't been playing that much Train recently, so hopefully we can get to a third and see what Inferno has in store.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key, right? They've got to get to Inferno, but with that said, we are going to go to Alex on the desk.
Thank you very much, Henry G and Sadakist, your casters there. I'm joined by Launders and Lurpis, and we'll be talking about this one. And talking of L names, they catch the L on Nuke. No surprises, to be fair. This was kind of anticipated to be another one in the books for Astralis.
Yeah, they made it happen. It was more convincing the last time. I mean, the fairy tale story for NIP. I don't know. It doesn't end here.
But I mean, they started to back it up. I mean, Tommy, I saw your tweet. You were like, and there it goes. They had it for a moment.
To be honest, NIP looked pretty good. They won the pistol. Unfortunately, they lost the second round. It looked like they were playing a little too cautiously, allowed Astralis to push in the lobby, Dupree to get a couple of kills, some scout hits here and there. But they won 4 straight rounds in the midst of that half, and at that point it looked like maybe NIP can get to enough rounds to actually put up a real fight there in the second half. The problem is they wind up losing the pistol. When you lose both pistols effectively by losing the second round against Astralis on Nuke, you're just not going to have a good time, Alex.
You're certainly not. Yeah, and I mean, we'll get to see where that started. It was a strong, nice T-side pistol and brought home the first, and that was pretty much all they could get home.
It wasn't bad at all. And they got the 5 rounds, and you thought, okay, even if it ends at a 6-9 half, they still have a second half to go into and be fine. But you lose the pistol, you start making bad buying decisions, and then it all starts snowballing. So it was a couple of, it was just that, even though NIP seemed to be playing well, Astralis were playing that much better. They look amazing today. So they're definitely back in form. Looking very, very strong, and have to say, like, all the things that I wanted to see from NIP were kind of there. Rez played really well. Forrest outside was getting a lot of cool kills, but then, Magisk was coming in clutch. There was a round where they threw outside smokes here on the T side, and then they hit upper. There's still 3 Astralis players upper, so they tried to, condition them to rotate out of the site. They couldn't get away with that. And as you can see from the scoreboard, Magisk was the star of this map.
Well, you say he was the star. I mean, look at everyone pulling their weight. 22, 20, 20, Dupree, Glaive as well at top of the scoreboard. And when you talked about Rez, not only did he sit down for an interview with Freya, he also just kind of was feeling confident coming into this one. Felt like he had a chance to knock that streak on Nuke. Not the case, though, but he certainly was backing it up with some frags in that department as well.
He did well. I mean, he almost won that 1v4 on the T side. That could have been
a game changer, right?
If he killed Zipnix 1 second earlier, they win that round. That could have been one of the ones that kind of shift momentum, give them some more confidence. Maybe they steal one more round to close out that half. But the problem is, I was talking to some of the North players in the green room, and when the score was 5-7, I said, even if NIP win the last 3 rounds, I think they still lose in the second half. I don't think they're winning 8 rounds on the CT side.
And of course,
I just don't think that's going to happen.
I think that's fair, because if you look at, they did get to play the second half. So we did see a sample of what they had to offer. And they won 1 good rifle round, but the rest of the time they got smacked.
Yeah, they certainly did. And actually, an interesting kind of margin that Chad, of course, here at ECS, he's a bit of a
Wait, he's alive?
Suspect. Yeah, precisely. But something he outlined was he needs to see a team only let Astralis get up to 5 rounds on their T side of Nuke. He thinks that is the winning formula. You can't let their T side spiral out of control. Admittedly, we didn't get to see, you know, the pinnacle of Astralis' T side, but that's the category he puts them in, and I think that seems to be something we haven't yet to see a team succeed.
I mean, I think that's how you beat Astralis consistently, potentially on Nuke. I do think the way they're eventually going to lose it is they just have a really poor CT half and get reset multiple times. They give up like 10 rounds, and that's the way they lose. I think their T side, they're going to be more consistent than potentially CT side, where money can be a bigger issue.
I agree with that. Yeah, snowballing could be a big issue for them. It was the second pistol that really sealed it up, and even when they were up, even when Nip got up a man on the CT side, Astralis won a 3v4, stayed very well coordinated on the T side, so they can make a lot with little. Yeah,
they certainly did, and we have got a little treat for you to take a look at that head-to-head, so we can see exactly how it changed upon performance on our first map. And yes, Magis, we highlighted him as a player to watch, and up top of the scoreboard and brings Astralis that big W one step closer to that grand finals. Yes, they have just 2 maps now for NIP to try and reverse sweep this one, and it starts on Train. Before we get to Train though, I know it does sound like a demo has been selected. It's Dupree and that gorgeous 3K. We're just going to watch that one back and see just one of the many moments we got from Astralis, and it was way back when he was putting up a fight with that pistol.
And this is actually their situation where if Forrest kills Dupree, doesn't get killed, or Lekro, I think, is coming up secret, doesn't get blasted, I think they still have a chance. You know, they get the pistol, maybe they can actually compete for it. But as soon as these 2 kills take place by Dupree, wonderful aiming here, by the way.
Yeah, and look at the awareness.
Crosshair placement. As soon as those 2 kills take place, it's game over.
It certainly is, yes. We are going to be talking about that second map. Before we do so, we are going to be taking a short break to catch our breath and get the players all back on stage before we delve into our second map of our 3rd day here at ECS Season 6. Our first semi-final continues after this.
To cope with playing with Exist, Get Right and Forced at the beginning, because I have looked up for them for so many years and they have been my idols, and I pretty much had to forget that I am playing with these guys to like be able to focus on my game and our team's game. When I came to the boot camp the first time and met all of them, it was a good feeling. Like I didn't need to be nervous or anything. They were all kind to me, and no one really tried to push me away or so. So they were just happy to have me there. Prior meeting them, I was really nervous, and I was still new to the scene, and I thought they didn't really know who I am, who I was, I think at least. So I had a little bit of performance nervous-ish. I just wanted to show them that I can do this, so that was the biggest part, I think. Right after we went out in the quarterfinals in Cologne, I instantly felt that I'm here to stay, and I can't perform here, and I'm not really that nervous anymore. I don't need to be nervous. I know what I can do and what my team can do. So, and that's pretty much a big reason I think that we won Valencia. That I didn't really need to think that much about myself or my team, or how we're supposed to act. And yeah. So it's the few weeks at the beginning when I joined NIP. That was the roughest part, but like I said before, it went over pretty quickly, and I'm glad it did, because now, yeah, I wouldn't be here today if I started like figuring out why or how I managed to end up here, or that I'm playing with players like them. And yeah, it's really important that you forget. I had to forget that I'm playing with really good guys, and instead that I am a part of them, and we're all equally good.